Video is live as well. I'm the MCMNG.
And I'm Master Shemlo.
Coming to you live.
With another tale from the deep.
Yeah.
Cody.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
This is our brother Cody on the scene, my friends. Welcome, welcome.
Glad to have you.
Happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
You're saying something you wanted to read? The
dude.
sixth word on page 146?
Sixth word, 143.
43. Alright, let's see.
Only time will tell what mysteries await. Page 143.
Loki, we'll run it back, and I probably said like 163 or some shit, but we'll go with 143.
Yeah, that'll do.
It was 140 something. Okay. The sixth word, 143.
Yep.
Alright, y'all. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Briar.
Huh.
A plant as of the genera Rosa, Rubus, and Smilax, with a woody and thorning or prickly stem. Also, a mass or twig of these. Briar.
Fair.
Interesting.
I thought that was like a little thing you guys had running because Loki sparked that wick, and it looks like a little piece of like, it looks like an old M80, you know?
Oh, yeah.
So I was like, he's about to light a firecracker.
We're about to explode.
Yeah, straight
what
up.
the fuck?
So that's what it is. You get someone intrigued and it's like, bang! I'll never forget that word for the rest of my life.
Briar.
Briar, dude. Was it with an A and an O?
It was actually with an E.
Really?
Yeah,
Really?
B-R-I-E-R.
Weird. Probably French.
Or maybe it was Briere, yeah.
Briere, yeah.
That's so weird.
Did you guys hear about the cheese factory that exploded?
What?
There was debris everywhere. We should probably restart the podcast. Alright, you can cut that out.
So, Chris Farley, huh?
Dude, he died. That sucked. But he was pretty funny. Yeah, Chris Farley.
I honestly am not.
A fan?
I'm not updated.
Dude, you ever seen Tommy Boy?
Maybe when I was a kid.
Dude, Chris Farley was a G. So like, I don't know his exact backstory, but I know that he was a relative hardcore drug addict, and he was an actor just because he was heavy set, and he really didn't care about people's opinions of him, you know. So he was just living his own vibe. So obviously Hollywood loved him, and then it's like he didn't care about his weight. He was just free on camera.
Is he fat bastard?
No, that's like Chris Farley times 5.
Oh, that sounds like fat bastard.
Yeah, Chris Farley stands up in that movie Tommy Boy, and he hits that joint and he goes, "We're gonna show this thing a world or two."
Yeah, Chris Farley is tight.
We should ask Google
That's crazy.
if it knows why Chris Farley was depressed.
When did he die?
I think it was like,
90s.
yeah, probably like maybe 10 to 15 years ago.
Yes.
Hey, why did Chris Farley kill himself?
Kill himself?
Dude, my Google's a gangster. I can be like, hey, yo, where Domino's at, bitch? I swear to God.
According to Wikipedia, an autopsy revealed that Farley had died of an overdose of cocaine and morphine, a combination called a speedball. Advanced atherosclerosis was cited as a significant contributing factor.
Advanced atherosclerosis. Farley's death has been compared
You gonna grab that ashtray?
to John Belushi. Damn, John Belushi died? That's the guy from, like, According to Jim. Maybe that was Jim Belushi.
A speedball, huh?
Dude,
Where
well,
can I buy a speedball?
I mean, Google took it easy. Cocaine and morphine is a version of speedball. You can do it with the harder levels and shit as well.
Huh.
Like speed and heroin. That's why it's called speedball.
Interesting.
But this sounds like he wasn't depressed. This sounds like he was vibing.
Sounds like he was vibing.
He just took a little bit too much morphine after all the cocaine.
Yeah.
Hey, maybe he was trying to. Oh shit! Someone wants some attention. She's like,
The kitten.
Circling.
Dun,
That's her mating call. She's in heat right now.
Dude, I'm actually really good at certain bird mating calls. Like, I got a peacock. Watch this. I don't know how it's gonna work on the mic. This probably didn't work. Maybe off to the side.
That's actually pretty good.
Dude,
Huh.
I'm getting there.
Yeah, that's pretty
I'm
good.
like a raven. It's more of a crow.
That did sound like he's acting like a crow, kind of.
Whack. Whack. Is that what we're supposed to do?
Can you do a donkey?
Maybe. I mean, donkeys. What's a giraffe sound like?
I don't think I've ever heard a giraffe make a
Yeah. Actually, I can do a donkey. You guys ever seen Winnie the Pooh? I'm depressed as fuck. I might as well be Eeyore. That's actually not true. I'm on like day 6 of feeling really good, and like 6.5 days ago, I couldn't keep my shit together for 15 minutes. Look, you fix that. You know, it was like, and my issue was like, I usually have my answers. You know, I'm the person my friends come to for advice or whatever, and it's like, I didn't know how to regulate my own emotions, and it was fucking getting to me. It was rough, and you know, like I'd go to my mountain in Boulder where I arrested my father. You know, Chautauqua, tattooed right there and shit, and it'd be the greatest day ever. Beautiful show from nature, the mist clouds coming in and shit, and it was like the second I was down off the mountain or back in the car, I was like, great. Anybody want to go back to the forest? You know, it's like I couldn't find a vibe. I couldn't find my reset button. But and I don't know what it was or when it changed. Maybe my mind just decided like we're gonna try to pull ourselves up out the mud one more time. But like I haven't been getting in my own head recently, or at least for the past 6 days. Tomorrow's gonna be a week.
Interesting.
You know, we've been talking about it too. You know, self-care is important.
True.
Yeah.
True. I wasn't doing a lot of that.
Hmm.
Like maybe like I see self-care differently. Like I like to make music, I write poetry, I like to paint. I really like to do like favors for my close loved ones, you know?
Yeah.
Little surprises and shit. Cause like I believe in karma, but you're supposed to give without the idea of reciprocation, you know? And so it's like a little selfish to live that way, to think like I'm gonna make it through in my mental state because I'm doing good things for other people, you know? It's like you should do those good things for who you are, not because you're trying to make yourself feel better, you know? And that was like the closest thing I was getting to self-care. I had to cut my hair because I didn't take care of my hair for like 3 months straight. I loved my long hair. And I was just like, fuck. I dug myself in a deep ass hole. And one day I just kind of looked in a mirror and I was like, something's gotta give.
Yeah, man.
Totally forgot I was just saying all that on camera. I was wondering why it sounded weird in here. It's like I'm in a room. Is there an echo in here? Echo.
No.
I can hear myself. Oh shit.
Hey, low.
You ever been depressed, bud?
Yeah.
Like last week?
You know, it's interesting because like when I was young, I never used to really see depression as a thing for me. You know, I used to always have like real upbeat personality. I was always just naturally positive, you know, and just motivated.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't know. I think I was like 20 when I first got hit with like depression.
How old are you now?
I'm 24.
Yeah, it was a new thing for me too. I had never experienced it in my life. Like, I was one of those douchebags that would just be like, "Don't be sad," you know.
Yeah.
And people are like, "Okay," but I do try to be very empathetic. You know, you put yourself in someone's shoes, and I've practiced it for so long. Sometimes you can read people, you can feel them. You can always know when a vibe is off. You know, that's a Facebook meme. But look, it comes from something, you know. And if you are empathetic, you can tell when someone's not all there. Yeah, and depression came out of nowhere. I was like, I didn't even know what to do with it because I didn't really know what it was.
Yeah, and like me and Isaac have talked about it too, especially like in this day and age as a man. You know, you don't really know how to deal with emotion. Nobody teaches you this shit. You know what I'm saying? You're just taught to suck it up and just get over it. You know?
Fair. I let go of that a long time ago, though. The whole idealism of men aren't supposed to cry. I mean, I lost a couple good women because of that macho attitude and whatnot. And then, I want to say it's like when my dad died, but it definitely switched before then. You know what I mean? Because like I was getting emotional just over the idea of certain things.
Mm-hmm.
Like life's a fucking trip, you know what I mean? And
No, for real.
you're right, people don't teach early stage to men how to handle their emotions. Not often, you know?
Yeah.
If you had good parents, a good mother, a good father, empathetic parents, you know, they low-key showed you the ropes.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? But a lot of people, didn't have two parents their entire lives, especially who were empathetic at all. So it's like, you're playing a different ball game, you know?
Mm-hmm.
You can't be on the same page with anybody because you guys are reading different books.
Exactly.
Man, you know it's interesting. Like my dad, you know, I talk to my dad sometimes about certain things, and you know, like we see things differently a lot, you know. And he, like at sometimes in the past, he would like chalk it up to like, you know, you were just raised different. You know, you weren't lied to.
Yeah.
And you know that's something that I feel is important. You know that that is true. You know I wasn't lied to.
Yeah.
You know like that. I was told what sex was at a young age. I was told what things were. You know I'd ask what they were and they I wasn't lied to.
Yeah.
And I think that's important because I think it's good to have innocence and stuff like that. It's very important, but it's also very good to be knowledgeable. Because if you're like I've seen that innocence just be like everything, and people just so like oblivious to so much. It's like,
Yeah. Well,
how old are you?
that's why they say ignorance is bliss.
Yeah, definitely.
It's definitely a double-edged sword because, I was never lied to either. Like, my father was a functioning alcoholic and functioning drug addict.
Mm.
You know, I'd be like 5 years old and my dad would be like, go get my medicine. And all I knew was it was the shiny gold thing in the bag of green shit, you know? But as I grew older, and I wised up, I would be like, why's that door closed, And I would like open the door real quick and you would just hear like crumpling and tinfoil and shit. My dad would be like, sup kid? And I started to learn, and once my dad knew that I knew what was up, he was like, okay, so this is what's popping, And my dad was one of the greatest fathers a man could have, he loved me, never hit me. He may have done drugs, but we had food on the table, roof over our head. If I wanted money to go buy a book whenever I wanted, he was on it. And then it was cool to see the other side of life as well. My father sold drugs, My father ran away when he was 8 years old in Manhattan. He was a hippie. He was lucky to make it out. So he partied his whole fucking life, And me just growing up as a kid, I got to see multiple sides of life. I got to see drug dealing. I got to see him being a tradesman and working his back to dust every day, And it was like, then the economy hit and we relied on drugs, and then the drugs took their play, which they always do, His body deteriorated, shit happened, you do more drugs, you start to rely on them. It was 5 evictions later, and the drugs had won. But it never changed him or his attitude, you know what I mean? He was a good man through and through.
That's what's up.
Yeah, and that's what made me the good man I think I am today as well, was the honesty I got when I was raised. It was like, my dad was like, don't lie to me, tell me the truth, I won't be half as mad. And if I had questions, my dad would either be like, this is how it is, or he'd be like, I'll tell you when you're a little older.
That's exactly how my dad is too.
Well, you guys think you're so cool because you got your dads.
I know my cat's
I
pretty
told him I was
happy,
gonna open up with a dead dad joke and shit.
Yeah, it's like that.
You wanna hear a good one?
What is it?
Knock knock.
Who's there?
Not my dad.
I was like, yeah, bro.
He low-key got a touch uncomfortable, and I busted out laughing. And he was like, "Well, if you think it's
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you're definitely dealing with it.
Well, I told him in the car. I was like, it's better to laugh. I don't have a time machine. Do you?
Can't say I do.
Do you?
You
Yeah.
never know, dude.
You never
The
know.
worst thing to say is no. But yeah, I don't have a time machine, so it's like it's better to laugh than be sad. You know? And my dad gave me everything that I needed. He taught me how to be like a true human being. So I have opinions on death. I don't exactly think it's the end. I don't know if I'll see him again. But I know that he lived his life with good intentions. He vibed hard, and he did his best by me. So there's nothing else that he could have done for me. There's no reason for me to feel sad or feel lost or like I lost something, because I am him. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's great, man.
Yeah, dude. Had to hold a fucking pillar in my throat back on that one.
How long would you say it take you to get to this point?
Before I felt okay.
Yeah.
Shit, to be honest, I don't know what today is. Actually, I do know what today is, because it's the 1st and it's beginning of Pride Month, motherfucker! I'm not gay. Hair's pink. I'm not gay. But that being said, I don't know. I don't really follow dates. You know, I don't know when my dad died. I just know it's probably around 2 years ago now. And I knew at a younger age that I was going to lose both my parents. My mom was sick, you know. Doctors told her if she didn't stop drinking 10 years ago, she was going to die. She pounded a handle of Kentucky Deluxe with my pops every day. So we always expected her to go first, you know. My dad got hit by a truck walking across the street, healthy as an ox. Walked into that one. Fucking. So it was like I had mentally prepared myself, you know, but that was my worst nightmare. He was my best friend, you know, so it was like, it changed my entire life. I didn't know what I wanted or who I was anymore. I lost my woman because I pushed her away because I was mad at the world and mad at myself because I had been portraying who I thought I was for so long, you know, what I thought I wanted. And then, you know, it's almost like I manifested it, because I always told myself that I would never be able to enjoy a sunset somewhere if I knew my parents were struggling or my dad was down in the dirt somewhere else, you know. So when he died, it freed me. I was still stuck with my fucking mother. I love you, Mom. She can't figure out her phone. She'll never see this. But it was cool, because like I was always my father's son, you know, and now I was stuck with my mother, who we always didn't vibe 100% my whole life, but I was the man of the house now. I was all she had. So it was like I had to help her, which I did, like he would have done, so I know he was proud of that. But then I found a vibe with my mom, you know. I got time with her that I never would have gotten if I hadn't lost my pops. And like, she's still doing drugs and drinking, and so I'll find her on the floor one day. So it's like I'm still tied down a little, but she told me to go live my own life, just like my dad always told me. It was myself holding myself back. So to answer your original question, I would say it took me like a week before I was okay. You know what I mean? Because like it got worse and worse day by day, because I had never really gone like a month without like consecutively seeing my father. Maybe a couple months when I moved away for work, but it was like the longest I had ever seen him. You know, and people are like, it gets easier with time. It does not get easier with time, because it's one day longer that you haven't seen him, you know? And a dude at a pawn shop was telling me, and it stuck with me, he was like, Loki, you stopped thinking about it as frequently. More time will go by before you realize, like, damn, my dad's gone. And he was right, you know? And then I was okay, because I had to take care of my mom, and there was nothing else that he could give me. Well, that was cool. Yeah.
Huh. You know, that's. I appreciate you sharing that.
It's a bitch because like now I cry when Iron Man dies. It's fucked up. Disney sets you up.
Cornucopia, thank you, sir.
Or like, there's a Disney movie called Onward.
Yeah,
You know that movie?
I think so.
My boy Louis loans it to me because we
Wait.
got nothing to watch.
I haven't seen that one yet, no.
Oh, okay.
Better go now?
It's about a kid whose dad's dead. And I'm like, thanks for the movie, Lou. And they go on this fucking whole mission, you know, they're like wizards and they can get their dad back in 24 hours. And of course, spoiler alert, not to ruin the movie, but at the end, something happens to where the dude who's never met his dad, he can't reach him in time. So just his brother gets to meet his dad, you know? And he was the one who wanted to meet his dad because he never had. But I'm over here bawling like a little bitch, you know? Like when Simba's dad dies and shit. But it was dope. The morals behind it was dope. And I totally related because he had his brother, you know, and that's why he was okay. Fucking, no, I just I lost my train of thought.
Your brother?
Yeah. It was like, it was weird. The kid was okay without seeing his father because he had all that he needed. You know what I mean? And like, I'm spiritual. I carried my dad's ashes to the top of a mountain in Boulder. He's buried under a bunch of rocks. You know, sometimes when the weather comes in, I think like the spirits are there and maybe it's him. And low-key, my mom is afraid of death. So since he died first, I'm hoping, since he lived so morally correct, if karma or some universe entity exists, I think he might have the decision to wait and walk my mother across the bridge. Not only that, you know, he might wait for me. He knows that it would be dope if, like, he knows my soul could use it. If even if he was like a wink at the other side of the room, like, see you next time around, kid, or something. So, I'm gonna live my life morally correct like he did, with good intentions, and that's one of the things that killed my depression. I was heavily contemplating like suicide multiple times, but I would have been fucked. I think I have to live properly, not like a saint or anything, but properly by me, by karmatic debt, by morality, and I think if I get close to that, then karma might grant you shit like that. I think I may be able to see my father again, even for a second. But if I don't, I'll be okay. And that's something that's also happened like recently. Like my dad would have hated my pink hair. He was from the '60s, but he was a little homophobic. He'd be like, "What are you, a fucking fagula or something?"
You know? Freaking on.
But now that he's gone, it's like I don't have to. You know, I'm gonna get a tattoo on my face. He would have lost his mind. The whole world is gonna lose their mind. Everyone's like, "Don't do it," you know. But I'm either gonna end up exactly like my father, being a tile setter for the rest of my life, or I'm gonna do my ambitious shit that I want to and be a writer or a poet. And both of those options, you know, it doesn't matter what's on my face. And something, I definitely hit a switch recently to where like it changed, you know, and it's like I shred something. I shred a piece of my ego I was holding on to or something. I'm low-key okay. I keep saying low-key, I hate that. I was hanging around Matt and fucking Micah for too long. But I'm gonna be okay if I don't become a poet or a writer, you know? I'll be okay if I have to be a tile setter and grind until my knees go out. And then I will probably become a drug addict and go out like my dad did. Because that's all motherfuckers know. But I think that if I'm like half the good man that my dad was, then everything will be alright. My dad begged me not to become like he was. He would always say, like, don't end up like me, kid. You're too smart for this. But, and he was right. Tile setting sucks, you know, trade work. I enjoy it because it's aesthetic. There's some artwork to it. It's good money. But I promised my father I wouldn't do that, you know? So I'm gonna play the wild card and get my head right. Whatever it takes. Pink hair, tattoo on my face, whatever. I'm gonna commit to the life that I want. Because it's otherwise, it's either I'd rather go for it and fail than not. And that's why I was so depressed for so long. It hit me like 2 days ago. I was like, I was playing myself, you know, trying to quit drinking or trying to quit doing drugs. I was like, I'm a vibe for the rest of my life. I was fighting myself, fighting the flow. And I'm gonna let go of all that. I'm gonna let go of everyone's personal opinions of me because I know I'm a good man. I would never intentionally do someone wrong, you know what I mean? So your first impression of me is not, you know, my problem, you know, because I know where I stand. And I think I was holding on to that and it was getting in my way.
Yeah, man, I feel that.
Sorry, I don't like fucking talking and shit.
No, you're good.
Oh, man, tales from the deep.
This is good stuff.
Yeah, man. I appreciate you sharing.
Real heartfelt.
Yeah, dude, I've never done anything like this. And I was telling a couple of my boys, they're like, what are you doing? And I was like, I'm gonna do a podcast on depression, hardcore drug use, and suicide. And they're like, what? And I was like, I'm sure they'll talk about other stuff.
Yeah, well, you know, that stuff's pretty prevalent in everyday life, really.
Especially in the last 10 years, I know that suicide rates have gone up, you know, considering the social media rises, you know, and stuff like that.
Have you lost anyone personally?
I have not.
No.
You know, that's actually one thing I have not dealt with on in my life personally, you know, like.
I hope you never have to.
I will. Everybody will. You
Hopefully
know.
they just get hit by a car or something like my dad. It's much easier that
Or
way.
they just die of old age or something.
Oh, that'd be dope. Or struck by lightning.
I would love to be struck by lightning.
Well, I would.
Or I would love to be struck by
and
lightning
live.
3 times and live.
Well,
There was this chick, you know who, her name is Sandra Ingerman.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and she's a renowned a shaman from the Western.
Marley.
Oh?
Yeah, and then someone says Marley, but I already passed it to you. So sorry to cut you off.
She's a renowned shaman or whatever in America or whatever, you know, and she's been struck by lightning 3 times, lived.
Really?
And
Are you sure you're not thinking about the guy who
No,
was...
I'm serious, bro. I've heard her story.
Did you hear about the guy who was struck once and lived, and then he was struck again, and I'm pretty sure that killed him, and then he was buried and lightning struck his tombstone?
I heard about that. Yeah.
Dude.
I've also met a guy who was struck by lightning twice and lived.
Did he have the scars?
Oh, the scars are so dope. That's why I would like to go through it, you know, and because the scars are dope from a lightning strike.
Yeah, they're interesting.
Plus, I want to pull some Avatar shit. I wonder if, like...
I know you could, like, channel
Yeah,
it
that's what
and
I'm
freaking
saying.
shoot it. Eh.
Low-key, it's just going to be like, bang! My arm hurts. You know?
You're all paralyzed. You can't even move.
Oh, stupid.
But I am definitely going to try some Iron Man shit. I'm stuck on Iron Man. Loki shouldn't have killed him. Pepper should have taken that hit. She was wearing a suit, too. But, you know, those veins were, like, up his body. Like, I want to feel that lightning.
Yeah, ride the lightning.
Dude. It's better than chasing a dragon.
Right? Son of a bitch. You want to do a shot, man?
Fuck yeah. Hey, you were talking about your dad, man. I had a couple questions.
What's that?
Are you Hispanic?
Half, yes.
Is your dad heavily Hispanic?
No.
No.
No, he's extremely white.
He's extremely white.
I was wondering, because, like my homie Raul, his dad's heavily Hispanic, you know? And, like, Raul was raised differently. His dad tells him shit like that, too, but he means it differently. You know, his dad came over from Mexico, got a job, did that whole thing.
Yeah.
And Raul was like, I'm gonna be a famous rapper.
So, you know, I was kind of like raised by my grandfather a lot more, and he's from Jalisco, Mexico, and shit like that. So I mean,
Shout out to my homie Coulter who just lost his grandfather / his dad.
Oh man.
It's a weird scenario. His grandfather was his dad.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, I
Very
think he's fucking his sister too. It sounds like you gotta keep it in your family. How's your grandfather also your dad?
Yeah, that's
I'm just kidding, he's not fucking his sister. So
that incest stuff is interesting. You know, in general though.
It's legal in Colorado.
Well, I know, and like even just like royalty, you know, all royalty was like, you know,
Yeah.
keeping the blood clean and shit's like.
Yep.
Fair. That and like
Crazy.
weird to bring up, but like kings used to mess around with dudes. They would like have orgies, and like they weren't considered gay.
Yeah, it's interesting how like the times like it changed, like in the, you know,
Times
like the
have
Greeks.
changed.
You know, the Greeks were all, you know, open. And,
Yep. Greeks,
Yeah, they didn't
Romans.
yeah, they were up for all the anything, pleasures, whatever, and then you know, and then like I think it's, you know, religion, the influence of religion coming through and being more, you know.
There are still those tribes out there though.
Oh, no doubt.
My friend runs like risque parties, you know.
Oh, that'd be nice.
Yeah, it's
you,
interesting.
you tried something like that?
Well, I was the door guy.
Oh.
Yeah.
I was the door guy.
I
He
was.
said it.
What does the door guy do?
Well, you know, they had to come in and sign a waiver of consent, and which just says, you know, be respectful, don't touch without asking,
Huh.
and then they would have to pay me.
How
And,
much?
It was $20 for a man and a woman if they were a couple. It was $40 for single dudes, but they only allowed 4 of them in,
Huh.
and single women were free.
So would you have to turn away dudes that are single?
No, it was pretty like regulated, so only like 4 dudes were invited.
Oh, okay.
But there was one time there was like 3 single dudes showed up, and I was like, "Yo," and he was like, "Sorry guys," you know. My boy had wristbands, like
Huh.
it's official.
Interesting.
Yeah, and I had done it like twice, and I was like, "This is a whole new side of life." So my boy Louie, I hit him up and I was like, "What are you doing next Wednesday night?" He's like, "Nothing. Why?" And I was like, "You want to come be the door guy at a sex party with me?" He's like, "You trying to tell me something, bud?" And I'm like, No. You just gotta come see this shit."
You just gotta go see this
Yeah.
shit.
That's interesting. How long did you do something like that?
It ran for like 5 months before the pandemic.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
okay.
since the mask rebate is off, it's probably about to start back up again.
Interesting.
Yeah, and it's a lot of fun being the door guy. I'm not really into like, what's it called? Hookup culture. What's the word I'm looking for?
One night stands.
Nah, there's a word.
Sex culture.
All I can think of is consensual, but that's not it. I'm not. It's when you have sex without romance. It's
Oh, I think I was talking about.
you know that word I'm talking about? God, I hate that shit.
Yeah, it's so elusive. But
I'm gonna ask Google. But I'm not really in. Let's ask.
I get that.
What's the word for sex without romance?
According to Healthline, the term aromantic has nothing to do with sex.
Aromantic?
It
It's not
means
the
you
one I
don't
was
get
looking for.
romantic.
Alright, fuck it. Anyways.
Romantic, yeah.
I wasn't really into, you know, the hookup culture and shit like that. I like a little bit of romance, you know. And look, you're not supposed to share your energy or body with just anybody and everybody, you know. People don't think about or know about shit like that anymore. But it was a lot of fun because there was a lot of hot women there. And the only 2 dudes that like weren't down to play were me and my boy Louie. We were like, we're just the door guys.
We're
like-
just the door guys.
We're playing with that boy's cat, and we're like, this is the only pussy we're playing with tonight, baby.
Ah.
I swear to God.
That's funny. We're just the dwarf guys.
Dude, how are we supposed to do a podcast on depression when I've been happy for 6 days?
That's how you overcome it, by acknowledging it.
Fair, dude. Yeah, the big sad.
Yeah,
It
big sad.
hits you out of nowhere.
That motherfucker.
And like, I don't think I'm schizophrenic. I don't show signs of it anyways. Because I got it under wraps. The voice is a part of me. But I do talk to myself a lot in my head, you know? So I'll be like, I'm having a great time right now. And there'd be another me be like, oh yeah, what about the job we blew off? And remember how much you hate yourself about this? And I'd be like, shit, he's got a point. And I'm like, fuck, we were vibing. God damn it. Boom, you know, and the big sad hits. I hate that shit. I couldn't get out of it. But now it's got nothing on me.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
You get sad?
At the moment, sad, no.
What do you do for a living?
I work at Walmart.
Oh, I knew that. Sorry.
At Walmart.
Yeah, I'm an overnight stalker.
You got your own place and shit?
I live with my grandfather.
How old is he?
67.
Oh, so he's still got time.
Yeah, he's his father is 98. And he's
Damn.
still, kicking it up.
Dude, you just reminded me. My dad's dad, I think, is still alive. He's old.
What?
Yeah, he's old as a bag of dirt.
Wow.
He's got like dementia. He barely knew who my dad was. And I'll call him like, I'm your grandson. He'd be like, no, you're not.
Get one look at me.
But yo, and I just got off probation. I should go see my dad's dad. I had to tell him, like I accidentally had to tell him my dad died. But he already knew. You know what I mean? I was just calling to vibe since I didn't have my dad anymore, you know? He's got amnesia.
Huh.
But I should still go pop up on that motherfucker.
Where does he live at?
New York.
Oh.
And like my dad's got like 50 friends in New York because he used to tell me all these stories about like Central Park and the band show where they would all his hippies would sleep, and I was like, it's the future, baby. So I went on Facebook and I started looking up, like there was one name that really stuck. It was John Cedarquist. So I was like, that's a random ass name. So I put that in Facebook and it took me to this page called I Survived the Central Park Band Shell, and I was like, Dad, look at this. And it was every single person, it was his family, that he grew up with. It was like the 100 kids that were all doing that same thing back then. And there's like a list, there's like 80 of them that are dead that my dad is now on. But there's still like 40 people in New York that I could go vibe with.
That's fucking crazy, bro. Cause I do that same shit, cause like random stuff pops up to me, cause like things don't come to you for no reason, and I just follow it. And I go in and
Intuition.
it brings me somewhere, and I'm like, wow, this is really interesting. Wow, it reveals something.
That's some synchronicity.
Yeah, and that's how I've like. That's what's guiding me. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't really have any religion or anything like that. And I'm spiritual, so I just follow that, that force that guides me.
Yeah, people look at you funny when you tell them you're spiritual. It's like, are you stoned? Nah, man, I'm a Sagittarius.
Oh, God.
Are you really?
No, I'm a Capricorn, bro. Can't you tell? But yeah, I'm spiritual as well. How about you?
I believe a great many things, but I definitely would say, I'm probably more spiritual than anything, because, what I believe.
Answer.
Yeah, what I believe doesn't align with, popular opinion, but, some of my opinions are.
Oh, hit me.
Well, so, I do believe in a God.
Which one?
A God. A grand
Like, do you
creator.
think there's one? Oh, really?
That, just, it is, it's kind of, the way I kind of see it is kind of a way that, maybe like a Christian would view a God, that someone you maybe pray to and things like that. But, at the same time, I don't really, my God has no limitations. You know what I mean? It doesn't believe in no good or evil. You know what I mean? There's just reason in creation,
So is
purpose.
there then heaven and hell?
I believe in all of reality that it's possible. I mean, in all this space and, in space, there's so much out there. Who's to say that there couldn't be a realm or reality or a planet, that inhabits such things, that is, has creatures with wings and...
Speaking of creatures, I keep hearing birds in the background. Anybody else catching that?
Oh, yeah.
All
Yeah.
right, but
Welcome to the jungle.
I've never thought about that before, cause I never thought about that before, cause I just saw heaven and hell as this man-made, created image, good and bad. But I believe in karma. I believe in reincarnation. I believe on how you live depends on where you go next. All things depending. So that's a crazy idea that there could be realms or planets or whatever, what have you, that are extremely nightmarish. There is no vibing or love or anything, and if you are a psychopath, murderer, or child molester, or whatever, you could be reincarnated there. And then there may be nirvanas or utopias that saints or people and have full control of their brain. I've never ever thought about it like that.
That's possible. You know,
Yeah.
I don't know. You know, I think.
Yeah.
You know, I think scientifically, you know, a lot because that's just, you know, it's proven. And
What's proof? That you have a soul.
no, definitely not.
That was proven.
I don't know.
yeah,
You
it
think
is.
so?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
they got
The
pictures.
word psych means soul too.
Well, they got pictures of it now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Pictures of souls.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not sure about all that, but be that as it may, I just you know, we are conductors of energy. You know, we can literally, you know, pull energy out of the air and use it. You know, we can, you know, cause change with our, you know, whole bodies. You know, we don't have to wait for anything to come and touch us to give us that force to move. You know, we just create it. And, you know, I can move this bottle by just pushing it. And it, you know, because we you know, we can see. I say pull because, you know, I think energy is not, you know, created or destroyed. It just is.
Yeah.
You know, so
Give and take.
yeah, you know, all energy is there, but we are able to use it in a certain way, and so I feel like when we die, you know, that energy just, you know, dissipates into the air. You know, maybe even those around you might even, you know, take in some of that energy. You know, I don't know.
That could be interesting. It disperses into live people around you.
You know, it's
There's-
interesting.
Come on, it's reality.
There's a theory that consciousness. You go first.
So like, whenever I think of things in general or people, a lot of times, it'll come to me in like a wave, right? And it'll like be like this energy that's with me for a second, you know. And like, with people who
That's a real picture.
Who
Right? If
aren't-
someone died.
like my auntie's dead. I had never met my auntie, but I could feel her with me still.
Interesting.
You know what I'm saying? She has like this certain energy that I recognize. You know
But
what I'm
you've
saying?
never met her.
I've never met her.
That's,
You know?
That's also interesting. How do you know it's her?
I don't know. It's just an energy that I recognize as her.
Oh, I
You know
see.
what I'm saying? And I have a certain way of recognizing everyone's energy like that. You know what I'm saying? And every now and again, I'll get waves of them. You know what I'm saying? They come inside me and are like. That was terrible. but,
We're running back.
But yeah, it'll like flow through me, you know, this wave of like, it'll be like more like a wind of energy that'll hit me, you know, and linger for a second and then pass,
Okay.
you know, and I don't know why it happens, but I know my homeboy Ronald actually used to say, he's like, whenever you're thinking about somebody, I always felt like they're thinking about you too, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And I feel like maybe that's what it is, you know, maybe in that moment they or maybe previously or just recently they thought about me and I felt that, you know, that thought wave or a wind, you know, hit me and I started thinking about them a little bit too or something, you know what I'm saying? And it's like this energy we give out to each other on a constant basis, you know? And when we pass, like how you're saying, you could feel that too, you know, like with my auntie, you know, I feel a certain energy that I recognize as her. I don't know if it's her really. I can't say it is exactly, but I recognize it as that, you know?
So. Sorry. That was really tasty. It fucked me up. Okay, so. Are you afraid of death? To both sides.
You know, I don't know. I'm just here till I'm not. That's all I know.
What if you have to pick yes or no?
But what if I don't ever die? I've always had that thought.
You mean like they're gonna chop your head off and freeze it, and then 100 years will put you on a cyborg body?
No, I just keep seeming to wake up. So I'm just like, I don't know. So I'm here till I'm not. That's all I know. If I die, I die, you know. And
I don't know is an interesting answer. I guarantee you it changes with time. Or maybe not. Who knows? How about
because
you?
like I think about it a lot, you know, and I
About
think
death?
about death, you know, and
Because you're suicidal?
no,
Oh,
I have thought about that.
Why are you
But
thinking about death?
so I don't think death is bad entirely. You know what I'm saying? Life and death coincide, you know, together for a reason. Things come and go. you know, and
What if it was tomorrow?
well, then I don't know. I guess I'll deal with it then, you know, like that's just how I kind of see it. I try not to like build up a certain type of view on it that is gonna.
What about the expectation you built upon yourself? Aren't there things that you still need to do?
If I die tomorrow, then that's what was meant to happen. You know, I did everything I needed to do. You know what I'm saying? Like I wouldn't have died if I didn't do everything I needed to do.
I think people die because they're not careful. You overdose on cocaine that was laced with fentanyl because you got it from somebody you didn't know. My dad got hit by that truck because he didn't use the crosswalk and he had bad knees and he walked too slow at night on Colfax.
That happens too, you
Lost
know.
homies who had too much to drink while they were doing pain pills that also probably had.
But like you said, you feel like your dad did everything he needed to do for you. You know what I'm saying? So maybe he really did do everything he needed to do, and that's just how he went. You know, and maybe it was just him just not paying attention at that one time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That or he was ready to go, and it was his time, which was what you said.
Yeah, you know. Like,
But I want to hear his answer. But I'm not afraid of death, but I'm terrified of regret. You know, there's things that I still have to do. Unfortunately, I have a couple of things that I wish I would have never done, and you can't get that back.
yeah.
Unless I live properly, I do it right. I make myself proud. I live right. You know, then no matter what happens in the past, you made it right. So it was meant to happen. So if I were to die now, you know, I still have some like mistakes to make up for. Your turn.
You know, I guess the answer is no. You know, because it is what it is. You know, when it comes to all creatures, everything has, you know, alpha and omega, and it is what it is. So, I mean, you know, I can't run from the inevitable. I mean, as much as I'd want to. You know, I just know that, you know, I can live cautiously and, you know, take precautions to make sure that I don't put myself in predicaments that are going to certainly kill me. But, you know.
I like to go rock climbing.
There's things to do, you know, but I mean, it's life's all about risks, you know, taking the good risks and knowing what your risks are. And I'm kind of in the same boat as Lo, like, you know, I don't really harp on it, you know, I know it's there, you know, I just don't. It's kind of like with everything, you know, I think about the possibilities, but, you know, I just keep them in the back of my mind, you know, they're not like the current issue, you know, because, I mean, yeah, no doubt, it's going to happen regardless, you know, now, later, 15 minutes from now,
What is your current issue? That's a good one. What are you most stressed about right now? Work? Because you don't like working where you work?
It's not that I don't like working where I work, I just don't like...
A 9-to-5 dying society, capitalism and shit?
Most definitely, but aside from that, you know, the fact just that, you know, some of the pressures that are put on me when it just seems unrealistic, you know, in my opinion.
Really?
Which, you know, I guess that is how you achieve success, you know, and high goals, you know, by shooting for the stars and shit, but...
We asked for a fucking raise.
Yeah, but, yeah, you know, it's just interesting.
Well, how about you?
The issue
Yeah, your biggest issue.
right now, family. You know, I've just been working on just trying to keep my family together.
Fair.
You know.
Yeah, it's not an easy road.
Nah, definitely not. I've dealt with a lot of issues in my family, so.
Yeah, I took a couple solid hits, you know, just trying to keep people on track. Like I gave my parents my vans twice, just so like we're on the streets and shit. I brought them in my place. Like, it's a long, hard road, and if I got any advice, it's like don't be bitter. Don't get angry, even after a long time of doing it, because like in the end, you realize that you had your family right there with you, and that's what you really wanted, you know. So you're a good man for doing that shit. Good luck with all that.
I see progress. You know,
Yeah.
like
Your brother seemed pretty uplifted.
yeah, he's been doing pretty good.
Dude, last time I met him, he was like, "What up, motherfucker? You want a fucking tattoo and shit?" He was all like, "Fuck this bitch, fuck this bitch, fuck this bitch." Today he was wearing like a collar sweater. He was like, "I gotta go handle some business." I was like, "All right." Motherfucker shook my hand and shit.
That's what it's about, you know.
Yeah.
Uplifting the people around you.
It was
You know,
dope.
being there for each other. You know what I'm saying? Like,
This was crazy. This was like therapy. How many people are gonna see this shit? I almost cried like 3 times.
Well, at least 10.
Fuck.
you just gotta share it.
Yeah, man. It's
A lot of times when we've been interviewing people, we've been getting up to like 40.
yeah, good time, you know. But yeah, it's all about sharing.
But yeah, if, you never know.
Yeah,
Because
man.
you know a lot of people.
This
Or
is therapy.
I hit the power button and it deletes everything.
No, definitely don't do that.
Oh no. Don't use your telepathy,
How much
please.
liquid? Hey Google.
Like how much gasoline does it take to burn down an apartment building?
Oh man.
Oh god. Man, my lighter's dead. I'm gonna use yours real quick. You guys wanna take the shot?
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. What should we cheers do? Actually, you know why we cheers?
Why?
In ancient times, that's why beer cups were made out of metal, you know, so you could slam your chalices together, which we're not gonna do now, but because the liquid would go up in the air, you know, mix together and fall back into the cups. Therefore, if one person was trying to poison anyone else or everyone else, now their cup would be poisoned too. It was a brotherly bond of like respect and trust, and that's why it's disrespectful to not take a sip of your drink after you do a cheers, you know, and everyone else does, because you're like, you just poisoned me, motherfucker. But,
Really?
but that's why we cheers.
Alrighty.
Learn something every day.
Well, enjoy your poison.
Fucker.
Woo.
Num-nums. You're supposed to sip fine alcohol.
Yeah. Well, I want to feel it now.
Fair.
Woo. That's some goodness.
But I don't care. I was slamming bottles of Tonka with Matt. Shout out Matt. What a Tonka at, Matt.
Man, the tongue.
Hey Matt, how much money do I have to give you to dye your hair bright pink?
Oh shit! I don't think you
15
do
bucks. He'd do it in a heartbeat.
That. Think so?
I know so. He'd be like, Loki, I want some black in there too. But I'll do it. I'm calling you out, bitch. I'll give you 15 bucks, which means you only have to spend like another $6 to get the material.
All right.
I stole mine from Safeway. Shout out Safeway.
So,
What?
you're an artist, right?
I don't know how to fight.
You're an artist, right?
I don't know how to answer that question humbly. I try. I like to dabble in the arts.
Well, it's just we're about out of time here. But is there a place people can find your art or see some of your artworks or anything of that nature?
No, dude. And like, you're supposed to make moves in silence, but I am gonna spend the rest of the year finally compiling my poems, and I finally want to take, you know, my inspirational poetry book to a publisher, you know.
Yeah.
And I want to be like, here, it'll be like 300 to 400 poems that I've compiled over the last 10 years that are like really good. And if they hand me it back and be like, you suck, you can't take 80 of those bitches and make a book or some shit, 40 of them, so you got a thin book. You know, if they tell me I'm not a writer, then I'll finally know. And it'll be from there. But I've been telling people that's what I want to do for 5-6 years now. I have the poem, so that's what I'm going to do.
That's
Well, I
what's
believe in you, man.
So, no, there's nowhere you can find my art. Yeah.
All right.
So no.
Louis got a couple dope ass paintings. Shout out Louis. Don't watch this shit.
Don't watch this shit.
Louis gonna watch this every show.
Farley.
We'll definitely have to have you back, sir. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you
Yeah,
for coming,
definitely,
brother.
dude. Thanks for having me.
Until next time, y'all. Peace and love. And we are out.
Peace and love.